Hi, I'm so glad that you're here. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you've been at the channel before, welcome back. Today's video is going to get a little bit punchy. We're going to be using die cut and punching elements to create some amazing backgrounds for cards. No matter what your crafting experience is, this is going to be a blast. It's so quick and easy. My name is Julia. I'm with Julia Sue's Stamping, where I am passionate about stamping, coloring, paper crafting, making cards, and sharing the fun of how to do all of that with you. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I live in Northeast Ohio. I'm going to have all of the things used to create this card listed down in the description below, so be sure you check it out. Also, I'll have listed there my online store, my blog address, where there are a lot more details of everything, including measurements. Are you ready? Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our favorite die cuts and some punches. So you can use any of these types of things that you want. And if you are not familiar with paper crafting and you don't know what die cuts are, hey, don't worry, there's no secret code here. This is basically like a magic cookie cutter for paper. You run it through a little machine and it cuts the paper and into some very intricate, sometimes patterns like this one here is. And punches, well, they're like the superheroes of crafting tools. All right, so let's go ahead and get this adventure started. I'm going to set this aside for just a moment and we'll get back to them. When we're choosing our paper, we want to choose something that is going to be like, well, it's basically a canvas for your masterpiece. You want to choose whatever it is that's going to suit you or suit the occasion that you're making. So maybe you're someone who really likes bright colors, or you like texture, or maybe even you're someone who likes glitter if you're feeling a little extra fabulous. Remember, it's your creation, so it's your rules. So for this card, as you can see, I've chosen some more kind of neutral, some soft, subtle colors, because that's what I'm doing with this. And that honestly tends to be what I do more than really bright or glittery things. That's the way I roll. I'm going to go ahead then, and I'm going to do the inside of the card really quickly while we are here. So I'm going to grab some adhesive, and I have a piece of basic white cardstock that has been cut to be, get this started, it's a brand new Stamp and Seal Plus, and I tend to like the tape rollers. Some people really like to use the glue, and that's fine. You need to use whatever is going to work for you. So this basic white piece has been cut to be 3 7/8 by 5 inches, and then the Lost Lagoon that I just adhered it to has been cut to be 4 inches by 5 1/8. So it's just an 1/8 inch bigger so that it mats the white and it frames it beautifully. Then I've got my base that has been cut to be 11 inches by 4 1/4, and then I scored it at 5 1/2. So I'm going to fold it at the score line, and using a bone folder I will make that nice and tight, and then I'm going to adhere this piece of the Lost Lagoon inside of the card, because that's, as I said, that's the inside of the card. Stampin' Up! Has this thing called Celebration every year, and I remember when they started Celebration, so it hasn't always been around, but it's something that they do. This designer series paper is from the Flight and Airy. Flight because there are a lot of birds. Can you see the birds in there? There are a lot of birds on this paper, and everything about this paper is kind of birdie. So Flight and Airy, and that was it is one of the Celebration items. Celebration ends on February 29th, and if you're watching this in real time, that's in just 2 days. So it's very, very soon. I put this little 1/2 inch by 4 inch piece right here on the bottom of the inside, and now the inside of the card is all decorated, looks really pretty, and I'm going to set it aside. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to experience the power of the punches. So I am going to pull back this dragonfly punch, which I thought was just so pretty. And believe it or not, this was also a celebration item. I know this is in the catalog. They added it to be a celebration item, and I was like, say what? Okay, I'll give it a try. I don't have that punch. In fact, I don't have very many punches. And when you punch things, you have it upside down, or at least Stampin' Up's punches, and then you put your paper in so you can see exactly where it is that you're punching. Now, these are also designed for people who have arthritis issues, so you can easily hold the end then, and this is going to be loud, so cover your ears if that bothers you. And you got to grunt like that too when you're doing it. It is not super easy, but that's why you just put your weight behind it like that. And then when you're done using it, you can close it like that, close it up, and then this latches it shut, so it doesn't take as much room when you are storing it. So you could see that I easily punched that out. What I did for this project though, because I knew I was using that for a background and I wanted a bunch of dragonflies, I attached some adhesive sheets. You see that? It says adhesive sheets, and there are 12 of these that come in a package. I adhered some to a piece of the Pecan Pie cardstock that I'm using. That's what this brown is. And I cut it to be the same size as the Pecan Pie. Then you can easily take these adhesive sheets. They have a side that is easy to peel off, and you peel that off and adhere it gently to your cardstock. And you can see I did that with this one here. I've got the adhesive sheet on, and then I punched a whole bunch of the dragonflies out of it. So I've got them right here with the adhesive sheet on the back. So that's when you're getting punchy. And the die cut also is really cool. You can use it in the same way as I did these. You can cut out a whole bunch of them, and this is practically like having a crafting wizard right at your side. You can do anything you want. There are different shapes of them. Some are animals, some are different things, just like the punches are. So they come in so many different sizes and shapes. They're pretty awesome, and it's like creating magic when you're running them through your die cutting machine or when you're punching things out. So we've got all our elements ready here, and we're going to begin to assemble. And the first thing we're going to do to assemble it is we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring this card to life with stamping and putting our elements together. The other thing I wanted to be sure, and this is a really quick tip for you, don't throw away your negative pieces. All right, the negative spaces from the die cuts, because this is kind of like a supporting actor in our crafting drama, and we like to include everything here. So I looked at this after I was done punching it, and I thought, I bet I could make something out of this. And I do. I'll show you at the end here what I created using the negative space. The stamp sets that I used for these cards today, or this card rather, is the sentiment is from the Happy Labels. I'm going to use this thank you here, and I also used the of art and texture because I am all about the grunge and having some different types of fun elements in my stamps and in my projects. So I used this one today. And the first ink I'm bringing out is a Pecan Pie. So because these are photopolymer stamps, there's no rubber behind to help give it some, you know, a little bit of cushion when you're punching. So it's good to give it a little cushion on your own. I pulled out my paper piercing mat that I have. It's a big mat from Stampin' Up. And then I've got a piece of grid paper over top of it because when I'm stamping, I'm going to go slightly off of my paper and I want to protect my work surface. Inking up the stamp, and sometimes I'm going to do it without stamping off, and then other times I'll stamp off once. Sometimes I'm going to stamp off twice and just stamp all over this front of the card. I will leave some spaces blank because you don't always need to stamp off or stamp everything. It's okay if sometimes things don't have any stamping on it. So you can see I just kind of tried to make a little bit of a mess out of it, had the stamps go different directions, and then I'm going to lay some of these die cuts down. So, or these punched elements. It could be a die cut, it could be punched element, whatever. And then I'm going to just lay these dragonflies down using my take your pick tool. I'm going to go ahead and pick these off. And see how easy it is then to make it stick when you are using these the adhesive sheets. They stay, and I don't have to worry about a mess with glue. I don't have to worry about my adhesive going over the element and having to try and kind of clean it up. Excellent. So I don't cover them all the way up. Now you can see I went over the paper on some of them, so I'm simply going to grab my paper snips and trim that off. Now if I feel like I'm getting a lot of adhesive on my paper snips, I can simply take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and get that adhesive off. Works perfectly every single time. Now I have some more of these dragonflies left, and so fun. Another project in the making. I can just see it. That would be great. I'm going to go ahead and put these in my paper recycling and cover up my take your pick tool. Okay, so as you can see, we have brought this little card to life, and I just love how I've arranged these. I have a piece of designer series paper from that flight in Airy. It matches the inside that I did, and this piece of designer series paper is I cut it to be 3.5 inches this way and to be 4.5 that way, because I wanted to make sure it went all the way across. But what I want to do is have it not all the way to the side over here, and I'm going to tear over here so that it is not all the way across there either. Tear quite a little bit of it here. Let's see if that's torn enough. Yeah, I think that will be fine. All right, so yeah, I think that makes me very happy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead then and use some of the adhesive, putting this piece of designer paper on. Okay, let's see, get that on there like that. And you can see it covers the dragonflies somewhat. How cool is that background? So it's a raised background, but it's got that nice image behind it. Very nice. I took another little piece of that designer paper. You can tell it's from the same packet. It's got birds on the back. I have not used a lot of the birds part. I tend to use the other pieces a lot. And I'm going to make it into a banner. I cut this to be 1¼ inches by 3.5 inches here, and I'm going to have it be a banner. It's going to be a very, very small, what's that called at the bottom of a banner? Is it like the point or the, does anybody know what the bottom part of a banner is called? That makes it into a banner. I turn it over and then I trim the other side going into the middle, because I'm right-handed, so that just tends to make it easier for me. Okay, and then I've got another piece of basic white, and I'm going to do my stamping on here. This is my sentiment piece. This has been 3 inches by 1¼ as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down on top of it, and I'm going to use that as my little template to cut the bottom banner part off of this white piece so that they're the same. And that will also make me happy so that they look really similar, because I'm going to lay them up really close to each other. So to have them be similar would be good. All right, you can see how that worked. Now I'm going to just go ahead and lay this down here kind of crooked. It kind of seems odd to do that, but that's my artistic thing. That's what I want to do. You may lay yours completely straight if you are more of a linear person. That would be my husband. He lays things straight all the time. He is such a linear, everything has to be exactly that way, and kind of drives me nuts because I like things angled and offset and things like that, and that's just how I do it. I've got the thank you from the Happy Labels that I talked about before. And what I'm going to do is start with the pecan pie, which is why I left it open. I'm going to do it the first time kind of in the middle-ish. And since it's photopolymer, you can see that I've got the pad behind. And I stamped it once, and I'm going to keep on stamping it because it's going to just kind of get lighter and lighter, but it adds kind of a cool look to it. And then I'm going to just wipe that off super quick, and I'm going to use a Lost Lagoon which is the other color I'm using a lot in this card. Ink up the stamp, and again I'm going to do the first one all the way full strength, and then after that stamp it several times with the lighter coming through. So that is my element, the sentiment. Close up the ink pads really quickly here, and then one of the final steps here is to take some baker's twine in a neutral. It's almost looks like it's linen thread, but it's a little thicker, and I tend to leave it attached to the reel or to the whatever you call that, the roll, until I'm done, because I never know how much I'm going to need. I might need to pull out a little bit more. I'm going to tie it into a bow, and I want it to be kind of a big loopy bow. There we go, I've got it. Okay, now I can see how long my threads are. Cut this one, I want kind of long, and then adjust my bow however it is that I want it on there. Sometimes I put it through one of the loops, the end string through one of the loops, because then it helps hold it down where I want it to be. And there, I'm really happy with that. I think I like how big and loopy that is. Come here, it's kind of laying down there. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, and now I'm going to simply take a dimensional and put it onto the back. Take that paper backing off of the dimensional and lay it down onto that piece of designer series paper. I'm going to curl it up just a tiny bit here at the end. Gives it a little 3D look. All right, and there we go, a nice big, kind of like a card's messy bun, right? The messy bun of cards is this bow right here. All right, and see, there you go. Look at what has been created right here. It's a little mini masterpiece, a card paper crafting masterpiece that is uniquely mine. It is just something that I made, and yours will look uniquely yours. It's whether it's a birthday card or a thank you card. I did the same with a birthday card here, or the thank you card, or just a card for the sake of carding. You need to think about this paper crafting like the world is your crafty oyster. It's whatever you want it to be. So I'm setting those aside. I'm going to show you, this was the first one that I made, and I used the die cuts for this. Can you see how the die cuts are in the background here? How cool is that? That is what's in the background here. And this was a very elaborate card. I made this casing, it's copy and share everything, from the Stampin' Up! Catalog on page 102, the annual catalog. And I loved this card. I thought it was so beautiful. So I made, and it's decorated on the inside as well. I made this card, and then I thought, I really like that, but it's so complicated. This is a one and done. I would not make any others of this because there were so many little pieces and parts and things. How can I simplify this? So then I came up with this birthday card with, like I said, the messy bun of stamping here. And I liked this a lot better because it was very simple, and I could easily see making more of these, as I have. You can tell I've made quite a few more of these, and I love this. It's so much easier. But remember that negative space I was talking about when you punch something out? I made this card with the negative space. How cute is that? Just some embellishments of some naturals, sequins here, a little bit of it's just a little stamping of a happy birthday from the Circle Sayings. And I used something else from Celebration. It's this cute little, the dragonfly from the Detailed Dogwood stamp set that is also amazingly this is also from the Detailed Dogwood from Stampin' Up! So how cool is that? All right, using the negative space, really cool card, and I'm just so pleased with these. I think that you would enjoy making these too. Thanks so much for joining me here today on this crafting journey. Be sure you give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can get more of this creative content. Let me know in the comments what other kind of journey you'd like to take on this crafting adventure, and I'll be sure to do my best to incorporate it. So until next time, I hope you enjoy yourself and have some happy stamping and creating. Bye.